Hi, it's Des Futek here. I'm just doing a very impromptu live this Sunday. The title of this video is pretty self-explanatory. This live may just drop out. It's dropped out once already, but I've just been in a meeting where various people have been sharing various things to do with the City of Bristol, including one person who's a medical practitioner. I'm not sure if it's Southmead Hospital or the BRI, but she actually described how she feels the situation is as someone involved on the front line. And she said it's as if a tsunami is about to come, and everyone's trying to build this boat in order to ride out this incoming tsunami. But there are a lot of people still out on the beach because the weather's nice, as it were. Literally at the moment, the weather in the UK is just lovely, and they're just totally unaware of the impact that this coronavirus is going to have on the nation. And unless you've been avoiding the internet for the last month, you understand everything there is to know about flattening the curve and avoiding contacting people. However, I will say that I'm still hearing, just from my own connections, people meeting up and having meetings and so on, where I believe they could do that virtually. And I just want to share my screen with you because there is actually, if I can just find it, on LinkedIn, I came across something which I found also very sobering. This is from a guy who's one of my LinkedIn connections. He's a connection of a connection, who's a clinical practitioner in primary and urgent care. And I'll put the link below this video when it's gone out live. But he's basically saying we need to avoid contact with other people, because at the moment we're following exactly the trajectory of Italy right now, but we're just 14 days behind. There's been a previous video that I shared, which I think in that video, in that particular video, it showed you the kind of the curve, and it said that basically every 14 to 16 days the number of infections goes up by about a factor of 10. So at the moment in the UK we've got about 5,000 cases. So within 2 to 3 weeks we will have 50,000 cases, and probably the number of deaths will go up around 10 times as well. So this is it's just, we can't understand exponentials. But you also know from social distancing, and I'll put a graph below, that if one person just limits their own contact with everybody else and remains in social isolation, or just doesn't take any unnecessary measures, so that they're avoiding all social contact, not just staying away 2.5 meters, but staying at home. I highly recommend, if you can, to stay at home, unless you're involved in the medical profession or you're a volunteer, or you're involved in basically public service where you have to actually be working right now. I highly recommend that you stay at home. Get outside in the back garden if you have one, get some vitamin D, but just please avoid human contact where possible, because this is going to have a dramatic impact. If you avoid as many people as you can, you cannot imagine how much of a difference that's going to make in terms of the long-term number of people that are going to be ill, because we can carry this virus for some time before we know we've even got it, or even if it's diagnosable. So I'm not going to say any more about this. I've avoided talking about it because I know that I've seen so much information in the last month. I'm almost kind of like just fed up with it in a way, and I have been aware of how serious it is, but it was just hearing this medical practitioner from Southmead, I believe she was, just describing things as a tsunami about to hit us, and a lot of people are still kind of like, oh, everything's okay, it's all fine at the moment, whereas in 2 to 3 weeks it could be very, very different. But if we all self-isolate as much as we possibly can, I mean, I'm a very sociable animal, as you can tell, but if we do that, and we're very, very disciplined, if we don't have to meet with somebody, don't meet with somebody, okay? If you don't need to meet in person with somebody, then just do it either via Skype, phone them up, WhatsApp, Zoom. We've got so many online tools today available to us. Just please avoid people, because you can make a profound difference by not infecting potentially thousands of people. That's how kind of crazy this virus seems to be. It's much, much more infectious than the flu. I'm not going to give any more medical information because I'm not a medical person, okay? But I will tell you, take this seriously, because it is about to affect tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people in the UK in the next 2 to 4 weeks, not 2 to 4 months. And we're about to go through a very, very tough period as a nation. And it really involves all of us as being as restrained as we possibly can. Okay, that's the end of my announcement on this. I'm not going to say any more about it, but please do take it seriously now, whilst you're healthy, because it will make a big difference. All right. If you're not sure what to do and you're isolated, then please get on the phone, talk to people that know and love you, find support networks, use Facebook groups, use WhatsApp, just connect with people as much as you can now. And I just want to say thank you to all the people in my neighborhood who are helping. I'm self-isolating because I'm immunocompromised because of the medication I have to take. But me aside, I'm just thinking of everybody else. We don't want the NHS in the UK or any other place in the world to be overwhelmed as they are in Italy right now. Italy is totally overwhelmed because there are too many new cases coming on board, as described by the video in one of my posts. Okay, I'll put a link to that video below this in the YouTube description or on Facebook if you're watching there. All right, I'm going to stop talking about this now, but please take it seriously. Thanks.